Hey everyone, Patrick Engasser here, your blind spot business navigator. I'm here today to tell you if I can do it, you can do it. What do I mean by that? By it, I mean having more success in business and in life. Getting from where you are today to where you want to be tomorrow. And I don't mean just literally tomorrow, I mean the future tomorrow, whatever that might look like on a calendar, whether that be 6 months out, a year out, 2 years out. I would suggest having something in the next 3 to 6 months to shoot for as a goal, as we've talked about in the past. But today I want to talk about a topic that is one of my favorites, which is overcoming obstacles. And I want to talk specifically about doing what other people won't. So whatever the challenges are that you're facing, we all have challenges. Many of you know what some of mine are. The most obvious one being obviously my lack of physical sight, my blindness. That's something that I use as an example, not so that you sit there and think, oh, Patrick, I feel bad for him. I don't want you to feel bad for me. What I want is for you to realize that if I can do it, you can do it, right? If there's things I could overcome to have success in a business that more than 80% of people fail in, who can see that you can literally crush whatever challenges you have in your life. You've just got to be willing to do some things that other people wouldn't be willing to do. And the beauty is there's a lot of things that other people wouldn't be willing to do, right? There are people, let's say you're someone who's starting out in business and you know that there's other people in that same business who have a lot of business contacts, right? They have a network. Or let's say you're a sales professional and you feel like, well, I don't really have any experience in sales or I don't have any contacts. A lot of people say that to me when I start coaching them. And the truth is you don't need them. If you have them, that's great. But when I started out in business as an insurance sales rep, I didn't have any. I didn't know what it was like to be a 1099 business owner starting my own business. I didn't know what to do. So there were a lot of things that I had to overcome. And in addition to that, one of them obviously was being blind in an industry where really nobody could coach me on how to be a successful blind insurance agent because none of them had coached someone who was blind in the insurance industry before, right? So I had to kind of create my own roadmap with the help of piecing together some of what I was being taught by mentors who I offered to buy dinner for, a cup of coffee, a glass of wine, a beer, whatever, to pick their brain about what what they had done, what their success habits look like. So I'll give you a couple of quick examples and you can take these and kind of create your own. This is what I'm going to do different from everyone else. And by different, I mean, what are you willing to do that takes you the extra mile, going the extra mile that someone else isn't willing to go? The difference between the successful person and the person who isn't successful yet is the person who's already successful was willing to do something that others weren't willing to do. So I'll give you an example. I had to set most of my appointments on the phone in an industry where most people would go business to business, drive up, walk in. Obviously, driving's not my specialty. Nobody wants to be on the road if I am at the same time behind the wheel. So for that reason, I had to pick up the phone and make most of my contacts via the phone. And then I would take the bus, yes, literally the bus. We had a paratransit service that was door to door, but you literally had to drive around the world half the time to get, or they would drive you around the world to get to your destination. And I had a lot of people say to me, like, I would never do that. I would never spend an hour and a half on a bus or a paratransit van to get to an appointment. And I'm like, right, because you can just get in the car and go. So I understand you wouldn't do that because it doesn't even occur to you that that would be something that would be normal. But to me, I had to find a way around it. And if I had been unwilling and had just said, hey, I'm not going to do that, then I would never have had the success that I had. But I didn't care because I was going to do whatever it took to overcome the obstacles and the challenges and have that success. And that's exactly what you need to do. So your challenge may not be, hey, I'm blind, I need to figure out a way to get from point A to point B. I'll take the bus. You probably have another challenge, but you can find your path around those obstacles the same way that I did, right? So one thing I did was a lot of people were walking into businesses and I obviously had a significant disadvantage because I wasn't able to do that. So what I would do is put together letters and I would put a picture of me and my leader dog, my former dog Rupert, who everybody was attracted to. Like if he walked in, everybody stopped and wanted to pet my dog and talk about my dog. And so I kind of started to realize that was an advantage I had. So don't look for what things you have that are weaknesses. Look at what are your strengths and double and triple down on those rather than trying to constantly look at your weaknesses and figure out how you can improve them in a minor way. So take those strengths and double, triple, quadruple down on them. That's what I did. So I'd send out the letter, and 3 days later I'd follow up with a phone call. And that had I had a lot of success. So it took me a while to figure that out, but once I did, I had huge success with that, and I started running a lot of appointments. Another challenge that I'll give you an example of was I had a computer program. I have a screen reading program because obviously I can't read what's on the screen with my eyes. So my computer actually talks to me and tells me what's on the screen. Well, that program didn't work well, or wasn't compatible, let's say, with the enrollment software that the company I was representing used, and still uses to this day. So what I had to do was memorize, in a lot of ways, the screens that were there. So in the beginning that was challenging. So I typed out on a Braille piece of paper like this one. I brailled out all the different parts of the application. So I knew if I hit tab 3 times, this is the part of the page of the application I'm on. If sometimes the screen reader worked, some parts of the application it wouldn't read. I would refer to my Braille sheet until I learned this is what I'm on page 14. So all of that that was something, once again, people were like, God, it took you so long to learn that. I never would have been willing to do that. Well, once again, I just simply said, hey, I want to be successful. This is an obstacle I can't change, right? I can't make myself be able to see with a magic wand or make this program compatible. So I'm going to make do with what I have and work around those obstacles. And I'm here to tell you that you're no different. Whatever it is that's your challenge, whether it be a physical disability or whether it be, hey, this is something that's a disadvantage for me. I'm in a new town and I'm becoming a sales rep here for the first time and I've never been a business owner or a sales professional. What can I do? Well, you can join a networking group or 2 or 3. You can go out and meet people in that community. You can find a couple of influencers and sit down and have dinner with them and build relationships and then have them introduce you to people that they know who are influential in the community, right? There are a lot of things you can do to quickly build a network if you don't have one, so that you can actually end up ahead of the people who have one. It's really all about thinking outside the box and thinking about how can I be unique? How can I do the things other people wouldn't do? Do you send handwritten thank you notes? I used to do that all the time. I used to have someone else handwrite them because no one wanted to read my chicken scratch, right? But I would have someone handwrite them for me that I paid a small amount of money or took out to dinner to do that for me. And then I would send those out. They were personalized, and people really, really appreciated that. I actually had an account tell me once, you know why I gave you, you know why we're doing business together? Because you hand wrote me a thank you note, and nobody's done that for me in more than 10 years. So that's when I realized, wow, okay, I'm onto something here. This may not be the thing that flips every opportunity from no to yes or from maybe to yes, but it's going to be a 1 or 2 or 3% difference between me and everybody else. And that's what I was looking for, that advantage, that unique angle. And for me, I also found, love it or hate it, in the beginning it kind of embarrassed me, but I learned to get over that. Some people were just willing to do business with me because they were curious about the fact that how in the heck do you do what you do, not being able to see. And if that's the reason they wanted to meet with me, because they were curious or because they liked my dog, I learned to use the advantages I had rather than the weaknesses I had. So find your strengths, take advantage of those, and I promise you that if I can do it, you can do it. Overcome your challenges by being the best person you can be and by doing things other people won't do, because that's what success is all about. I'm Patrick Engesser, your Blind Spot Business Navigator. Click that subscribe button. I would love to hear from you and how I might be able to help you or how we might be able to work together. And remember, if I can do it, you can do it. Have an awesome one.